The biggest question coming into this Georgia season was who would be the quarterback? And I think we saw in week one that the answer to Fromm or Fields was both.
Yeah.
What'll likely be the pattern early on, at least. Jake Fromm is the starter, but Justin Fields will play. Now, Fromm got the first 3 series last week, had 16 pass attempts to Fields' 8, and as Kirby Smart suggested, the offense didn't really look too different with whoever was there. Now, although Fields did look a little quick to run early on. Now, Smart says there really is no plan for which quarterback will play, that the flow of the game will dictate who goes in next. But it sure looks like the Dogs will have a 2-quarterback system, although their coach says they will not have a quarterback controversy.
They're both great kids. They're both UGA fans. They both pull for us, and they compete hard against each other, but they're pulling the team in the right direction. That's one thing I'll say about both those kids. They just want to make our team better, and they've done that by how they've competed.
Well, expect to see more of Jake Fromm today. You know, only 1 year older, but a lot more experience with everything he did last year. Georgia and South Carolina fans got an early start on the trash talking last night in a neutral city, Augusta. The 25th annual Border Bash preceding the Georgia-Carolina game. Fans of both teams there, but certainly the crowd kind of leaning towards a Bulldog party with a little more red and black than garnet.
Yeah, that happens right there on the Savannah River that separates Georgia and South Carolina in Augusta. Cheerleaders and mascots from both teams on hand for the night that included live entertainment with bands from Augusta and Columbia. Border Bash, also a fundraiser, generated more than $900,000 for Augusta's children's charities over the years. Great event every year. Georgia and Carolina fans always looking forward to getting down on the square in Augusta.
Great to see, and great to know that college football fans are that generous.
Yeah.
$900,000, a lot of money to raise. Welcome back to the Clash in Columbia. Looks like folks just about ready to get inside Williams-Brice Stadium. They're going to open those doors, it sounds like, in about 3.5 minutes. And there will be a lot of South Carolina fans in there with a smattering of Georgia fans.
Yeah, about 80,000 expected on a sold-out crowd at Williams-Brice today. And a lot of people going to be watching it here. And Savannah was once a recruiting hotbed for schools across the state line. Both South Carolina and Clemson have historically pulled players out of the hostess city.
They really did. And back in the day, some players who came up together went to Columbia together. Well, Ken Driner joins us again from Columbia. Ken, the Gamecocks got some talent out of Savannah back in the day.
I tell you, it was really an incredible run what South Carolina had going. It started in the 70s with Jenkins, Jim Burke, and Jerome Province of Benedictine. And then all of a sudden you had Andrew Province, who was an All-American here, Jim Walsh, Kempy Wobble, Harry South. Just an incredible run of Benedictine cadets that played here up at South Carolina. Now, most of their teammates here at South Carolina, their big game was against Clemson. But unlike them, we all knew who the Savannah guys were pulling against.
What it does is it swaps the roles because Georgia becomes my rival. Everything, all year long is about beat Georgia, whereas the people on South Carolina team that's from South Carolina, it was focused on Clemson. Everything was Clemson, but my team to beat was Georgia. This little heckling back and forth till each year you won or you lost in that part. But it was a great experience going to Stanford Stadium, especially with Georgia at that time and having a great dynasty at that time. Well, considering we only beat them once in my career, which was my last year, which was our best year, that 10-2 season, it was unbelievable. The sweep win, and I think that's actually kind of catapulted us a little bit, short beating Florida State, Notre Dame, short beating those type of teams there.
All right, you got to check this out now. How about this Little League picture? That's the Bacon Park Eagles. On the back row, Kempy Womble, Harry South, Jim Walsh Jr. They all played high school together, but hey, these guys all played Little League football together and wound up playing together here at the University of South Carolina. All right, later we'll talk with some former Georgia Bulldogs that were from Savannah, talk about what it's like playing in Williams-Brice Stadium. For now, WTOC is live from Williams-Brice Stadium. Let's take it back to Tim and Jake.
All right, thanks, Ken. We're about an hour away from kickoff, joined by WTOC First Alert meteorologist Andrew Gorton. And this game always affected by weather, and today heat is the theme.
That's it. Humidity actually could be worse, but it's very hot out there. Check that out, 92. Probably going to raise up another degree or so as we go throughout the game here, but that humidity under 50%, feeling like the mid-90s still out there, so plenty of water. That sweat's not going to evaporate as easily, so you got to stay hydrated out there, and there's actually not a ton of wind out there right now either. Now, one thing that we don't have right now over in Columbia is a little bit of rain, but I will be watching these showers as they progress inland. Likely not going to impact us. If we got some rain from this or a little bit later on, it's going to be from a pop-up shower, and the future radar does show that there's a potential that 3:30 going into the 4 o'clock hour, so about halftime. A few showers around, and you know what? If you miss one of these showers, you could get a little outflow from it, cool things off. So might not entirely make it all the way up to the lower 90s for the entire length of this game. Starting off about 93, that rain chance, like you just saw, they're only at about 20%. Southeast breeze, 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's what it's going to be here for the entire game. So not a lot of ventilation for the fans out there, but also no excuses for the kickers either, because the wind's really not going to be all that strong. Very similar after kickoff going into the second quarter, halftime going toward the end of the game, looking like those temperatures are going to continue to stay in the low 90s. But
inside Williams-Brice Stadium, you see fans are in. They've opened the gates a couple minutes ago, and there is a huge turnout expected for today's game with this crowd waiting in a lot of anticipation.
Looks like the students trying to get the best seats in the house, and the person with the best assignment today, that was our Danielle Lawan. She was out there tailgating with the crowds and looked like she had a great time.
All right, I hope you hear this chant behind me, because we are taking a look at our South Carolina Gamecock fans. And here they are. Guys, how are we doing today?
We're all excited. We're all excited. But you came up from Savannah?
We are here from Savannah.
Well, let me just tell you something. On the road back 26 to 95, be careful of the Savannah River, because it's going to be full of a bunch of dog tears after we kick their fannies.
And y'all are really representing today. Absolutely. So what's going to be the best part of the game today? Winning.
Watching Deebo Samuel rack up a bunch of yards to increase where he's going to be in the first round of the NFL draft.
Absolutely. And I don't think that I could hear y'all enough earlier. Let me hear it again.